Hey GenderqueerChat viewers, Christina here again for your Wednesdays on GenderqueerChat. The topic this week is to discuss language and how it affects how you or others view gender, or just talking about language in general. So the only language that I really speak is English, so that's basically the only one that I can comment on, unfortunately. I know a few words in Hungarian, and I know a few signs in sign language, but I'm not really too big into that, so I don't know how much I could comment on gender on those. Maybe a tiny bit. I'm not sure about Hungarian. Sign language is interesting because there doesn't really seem to be, as far as I know, there doesn't really seem to be an emphasis on gender. It's kind of just, if you're in a group of people and you're talking about, here's Joe over there, and you're talking about Joe and Jane or whatever, you just point at them, right? There's no, different sign. I mean, there's probably different signs. Well, there are different signs for, boy and girl and blah, 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 but if you're just referencing someone, you're not really talking about their gender. You don't really do that. So, yeah, in terms of, pronouns, basically, it seems to be that way. Anyways, English, getting back to English, spoken or written, yeah, there's definitely a lack of gender-neutral language. So, I mean, growing up, of course, I had no clue about intersex people. I had no clue. Well, I had no clue about transgender people until I was, older. So, I mean, it's not, in the common day-to-day language to say, different, I mean, it's just boys and girls. That's it. That's all you know when you're growing up. At least for me, that's how it was. So that's what people tell you. And if you're using the English language, I don't know about other languages. I don't know, because there's certainly words for people who are of a third gender or whatever. There's different words if you live in certain countries. What is it? I know I'm not going to pronounce this right. Hira or something. Yeah, there's that. Anyway, and then there's of course two-spirit people in the First Nations communities and that sort of thing. But yeah, English doesn't really have that much in the way of gender-neutral stuff. As far as I know, they actually is grammatically correct, because you can say, if you don't know someone's... Now, you can't say they is, because that would be grammatically incorrect. But you could say, they are doing such and such something. They are running down the road, whatever the heck. If you don't know someone's gender. As I think someone commented on Joe's video. That they, I think, is totally okay, and I'm super happy that we're using they pronouns for people who are on the channel. That's fantastic. I think that's about just as all-encompassing as you can get. I mean, unless people specifically say, hey, I'd rather be more comfortable. I'm more comfortable with this pronoun than. But I think it's, I don't know, they, like someone commented on Joe's video, they is kind of the pronoun you use when you don't know someone's gender. So, that's, I think, as gender-neutral as it gets in the English language. But yeah, we don't really talk about, we don't really talk about much in terms of genderqueer people, a third gender. There's no such pronoun like that. Which, is kind of a shame. It kind of just leaves you those two options, and that's it. And there you go. And, not just pronouns. The English language is limited in the other ways, in terms of boy, girl, child. I mean, there's child, there's that, and there's, parent, and there's sibling, and there's no word, as far as I know, other than relative. There's no gender-neutral word for, aunt and uncle, so that's kind of annoying. And I was going to mention the language that we use in education. When we talk about people, when we talk about, and I know this isn't, directly, I mean, it does sort of have to do with language. When we talk about the reproductive systems in science in high school. You never, as far as I know, maybe in somewhere else there's actual education about intersex people, but I have received zero. That's something that you have to look up on your own, and same with transgender people, and really, let's be honest, for the most part, same with gay and lesbian and bisexual people. The whole like LGBTQ community is pretty much not really a part of the language of your education. So, you know, but specifically of gender, when they teach you about reproductive systems, they say the male reproductive system and the female reproductive system, which certainly simplifies things, and that's nice, but, I mean, you know, at least, if you're gonna do that, at least touch on intersex people or something, you know. So that's kind of a little bit behind the times, I think, the teachings on reproductive things, because they do talk about, you know, high school science classes talk about, for example, if you're in biology, they talk about disorders of different parts of your body. Now, not to say that intersex people have disorders, but, you know, it's like, well, you don't fall into male or female the majority, right, of male or female categories. I don't know why they don't mention it. I mean, unless, you know, I mean, it's just mention it. Like, it's, I don't know. Anyways, I'm rambling, clearly. I'm really not sure what else to say on this topic. I also hate the fact that, well, hate is a strong word. I dislike the fact that that language has been limited even with the words that we've come up with, genderqueer and bigender and agender and etc., etc. For me to really express my gender, like for someone else to really get where my gender is at, it requires a few sentences or something along those lines, or maybe even more than that. It doesn't really work with just, here, I'm genderqueer. I mean, that's true, I fall under the genderqueer term, but, you know, there's more to my gender than just I'm not male or female, or I'm both male or female, whatever, like, there's more to it than that. I'm on this spectrum, or whatever, and how am I supposed to be able to tell you with one word that I am right there on the gender spectrum, like on such and such a plane and such an area, like, no, it's tough. There's, you know, and of course the thing about language is that language definitely influences the culture that you're in, and the culture that you're in influences the language that you have, and it's a cycle. So, you know, language has an impact on the way that we see gender, of course. It's because the English language is more focused on the binary, our culture at large is more focused on the binary, and vice versa. So, yeah, I mean, if we can expand our language a little bit, that would be nice, but that's a long, very long process for something like that to happen, so... yeah, what else can I say? Anyway, I'm sorry, it's getting late, I'm rambling, and I'm sorry that I'm gone. So, bonus question. Go-to recipe. I don't really cook. I have, like, no skills in cooking. Tonight I made scrambled eggs. That's about it. That's about the only thing that I can, like, really make so far. Because I really don't cook. I have to get up some cooking skills for sure. Anyways, I have a long day ahead of me, so I need to get some sleep. And yeah, hope you guys got something out of this video. Can't wait to see everybody else's this week. Yeah, see ya.